Hey, Sihle, Skipani, dog.
Oh, good, my guy. Winner, how are things your
And
side?
no, all good on my end as well. It's just load shedding, the only thing that's just in the way of everything, in the way of my happiness. I'd say that, but I'm
That
okay, bro.
I keep on telling people like, I
Yeah,
think load shedding. We should stop
yeah,
calling it load shedding, and we should call it by its name, which
yeah.
is it's what is it called? There's a name for it.
Is it a
It's load.
scientific name?
Not
Load.
even. It's called load reduction. It's not load shedding. It's
Oh,
load reduction.
oh
Because
yeah, load
basically
reduction.
what they're doing is they stopping one area from having electricity so that they can supply it to another area,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
basically, yeah, this has been going on for 14 years. Best thing
yeah,
or best advice I can give you is get off the grid.
yeah.
Initially it's going to be very expensive, but in the long run it pays for itself. I mean, if this has been going on for 14 years, imagine the person who went off the grid in 2010. um,
Mm.
right now they're smiling all the way because literally this is paying itself off.
Yeah, no, pretty much. And of course, as time progresses, uh, I just feel like, what will happen is that people will actually start going off the grid and it will become even a bit more cheaper, to go off the grid. At the moment it's still quite expensive, it's still costly,
Nah,
you
yeah,
know.
but now right now it's
Yeah.
it's it's reserved for the wealthy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
someone who is probably doing products needs to go in and calculate to see at what's the lowest that they could possibly go and try and offer it onto these developers and see if they can have like when a Stain City is off the grid.
Yeah, listen to that, bro. Yo.
Yeah, like but try buy a place there.
Yeah, yeah,
Literally
yeah.
wanna.
Yeah, no,
they've got
that's where the wealthy
they've got a
live, bro.
dinosaur park, my guy. They've got a
Yeah,
dinosaur park there. And I've got a 4-year-old who loves dinosaurs. So I can
yeah,
only imagine if his park has got like dinosaurs and but anyway,
yeah,
it's one of those where it's here to stay.
yeah.
The best thing as South Africans is either to get used to it or to find solutions around it. It's not
Of
going to
course.
help for us because when load shedding is frustrating. Yo,
Yeah, it is. It
it's
is big
frustrating to the
time,
point
bro.
because like your life literally stops.
It does.
Everything is dependent on you having electricity. And
Yeah,
the
it
minute
really
that they
is.
switch it off, and one of this guy is punctual. When he says 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
It's 8:01, dog, or 8:01.
And
And you're
sometimes if you're
right.
lucky, and if you're
Yeah,
lucky, sometimes hey, at 8:03. When at 8:02, you're
yeah,
sitting there and you're like waiting, stuck. Maybe they forgot about us. 8:03. Ah,
yeah. Quite. It
but
hits you,
it's one
dog.
of those. Let's get used to it and yeah. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Let's
Ah,
sing that
no.
song whenever.
No, no doubt, no doubt, bro. Yeah, let's discuss football, CAF, African Cup of Nations, bro. Like, of course, at the beginning, we had our predictions, and at first we were excited before the games began,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, let's be honest, bro. When it comes to the football, what's your take on the football? I want us to start with that. I want us to start with the bad side of things before we head over to
Move
the
on to
good
the good
side.
side. I
Yeah,
think um, I'm gonna agree with you to a certain degree.
yeah,
When the tournament started, I think there was a buzz around AFCON,
yeah,
and it had been delayed, and so there was that build up. Like everybody was excited, and I think to be very much unfair to AFCON, like I fail to understand why can't AFCON hold a tournament to the likes of the Euros.
mm,
Uh, I think if you take all the continents, when it comes to hosting soccer tournament, we are right at the bottom, and it hurts because there's always drama, whether it's on the referee side, whether
mm,
it's the pitch is not being of great standard, or the unfortunate incident that happened where people
Lost their lives.
rushed in
Yeah.
and lost their lives.
Mm.
And you ask, is are we not capable of hosting these huge tournaments? Because this is our showpiece as Africa.
Mm.
This is where we say, look at us, look at what we've got. We've got, it's our own players, it's our own refs in the continent. But I wonder, if you compare, the Euros are on their own league, and I think the Americas also are starting to just like be they're getting very good, and it's sad. And I think also the flip side, not even the flip side, the other side of the soccer is, it wasn't. There were a few games where I watched and I was, oh, yeah,
Impressed.
this is a
Yeah.
great game. There were the very few games. Like I was angry. I was angry. When was it? On Saturday, the third place, third place playoff. At one point, that I was, I had to change the channel to watch something else because I don't know whether we haven't figured it out. The money is there, development is there, the players are there, but there's just something missing. Um,
And that, yeah. And I
it,
fully
it, it
agree with you.
it's Yeah, it's sad. I can't pinpoint. I think Umutsipe is a business people, and he needs to understand the value in AFCON, in the Cup of Nations being a success, because that would bring in sponsors, that would bring in money for the federation. But I think also, that we always get the same sponsors. So I think these are deals that are done. No one can come in. Sure, fine if FIFA now does this, but like I don't think, if we had to compare how many people watched EAFCON that are not in the African continent, as compared to if the Euros were on, and you look at all the other continents, would see the other continents are interested in with us.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
true.
Kataza,
That's so,
it's tiring. We can have this conversation until ESCOM
yeah.
fixes their load shedding issues. But yeah, it's not going to change. It's honestly not going to change.
I know, big time. And bro, even with, I also don't like that the AFCON takes place in January. I feel like it needs to be part of the FIFA calendars where, Copa takes place after the season is done. You know that what again, even
Because
CONCACAF, even Euros, they all take place after
like
that. Yeah.
I wonder, are we not respected as a soccer playing continent, in that?
Mm,
How did it happen? Ukuthi Copa is played the same time as the Euros, where teams don't mind their players going in, because literally the whole of Europe has stopped playing football because there's this tournament, which is their very big tournament. Because I think if you had to look at how structure wise, if football, you've got the the World Cup, which is literally the golden geese that keeps on laying eggs. And then
yeah.
after that, you've got all the nation cups that come up, whether it's Copa, whether it's Africa, whether it's the Euros. And then after that, you've got all the club competitions. Confederation Cup also.
Yeah.
But Atina, we are right at the bottom, and I don't know how the Copa was able to influence, which they should have it when Europe is on break, because
Mm,
that will be huge for us if we're to do that,
exactly.
to be honest. Because
Yeah. I think,
I think what happens is, if there's no local foot, sorry, if there's no club football, you don't have a choice but to feed that craving. You would watch whatever football is available, and then now you get introduced to. I'm not going to even focus on Senegal. I'm focusing on like the small teams. Then you start watching these small teams, and
yeah.
I think it's human in us to always support the underdog, and you want to follow the underdog as they progress through to the next round. So now that has triggered an interest in you in the tournament. Guess what happens to the broadcast? The viewership, it goes up. So can you see these? All of these are connected. Where I've got friends that uh, whenever the Copa is being played, these games are happening at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
And the only time that a man should wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning is if there's a boxing match. But
yeah,
these guys wake up to watch these South American sides play at 2 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning. Because like there's an
yeah, yeah,
interest there. There's no you're starved at football. So the only way to feed that craving is to watch whatever is available. So
yeah. And that,
Sandus Kawat, and then we will complain afterwards. I'm not gonna
yeah,
even speak on the refereeing. I know
yeah, I
you
know.
didn't want to speak. I know you didn't want to speak much on the positives for now, but
Yeah,
Gomes last night, brilliant, proper
world
brilliant.
class,
Yeah,
world class,
like
bro,
I
world
wonder if
class.
we could have that type of refereeing throughout the tournament. Sure, fine, we can fight about VAR but in him handling the game,
Did you
top
see what he
notch.
did to Salah, bro? He's like,
Oh,
you
that
wanna
was that was
officiate?
that was probably
Like,
the highlight of
take the
that
cards,
was the
my G.
highlight of the tournament for me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, big time. Another thing is as well, CK, before we jump on the positives, I also want us to also discuss, bro, like as far as I'm not too sure if you're aware, but Sundowns are in the semi-finals of the what again, the Club World Cup. They
Yeah.
they basically fielding a second stream team to play in the Club World Cup. And so Pete Simon even discussed Mawuti, like, these tournaments are taking place during the AFCON. And you also shedded a light and said that we're not respected as a continent because
No,
how
we
can
we're not respected, and we're not
yeah,
asking for respect. We're not demanding the respect of which we should. Because
yeah,
if you look at I'm gonna take your favorite league, League
yeah,
A, like
yeah,
the French teams, whenever they go shopping for talent, they come in Africa because
yeah,
that's where the talent is. And they get the talent for like sub million pounds
no,
for players,
euros, yeah,
and then or euros, and in a space of a season they can quadruple. Or I'm talking about like freaking a player comes in, plays for one season. They buy him for like a million, and I'm just hypothetically using a million. The next
yeah,
thing, an English side wants the player, and the French team can go and say, we want 25 million. That's our starting price. And if there's interest in the player, next thing the player goes for 30 million. How much have they made? So that shows you that the talent
is there.
is there. It's just the federation.
Yeah, no, that's true. I feel like the federation isn't, helping the talent. Imagine if the tournament took place in June where there's no football. Now
Yeah,
clubs are
that's
focused on watching your Kabatinho Mahangos score screamers. I'm not sure if you saw Mahangos score. Now
I think
it,
is
it,
that is
it
that the
opens
goal of the
up.
season? Sorry, goal of
It
the
has to
tournament.
be. It has to be. And also needs to be nominated for. I'm sure it's gonna also be nominated for goal of the year because wow, that was a screamer and a half, bro.
Hmm,
That was a world class finish. I mean, Omahango, if he played, if the tournament took place in June where clubs are on a break, I mean,
he's gone.
that alone would have opened up doors for him, and he would have had the
Hmm.
opportunity to go and play in Europe. And I mean, it's those sort of opportunities that I feel like players, especially if the tournament
It
is low, isn't Jan, players miss out on having scouts watch them, and
ah,
of course
it's
help
almost
them.
like it's almost
Yeah,
like our federations are just happy to be part of the conversation when it comes to
yeah,
FIFA, of which they shouldn't. They should be driving the force that we are a force to be reckoned with. Because if how much talent has Africa in the past whatever many years has unraveled and presented to Europe. I'll use probably one of my favorite players, who's Zinedine Zidane.
yeah,
He's of Algerian descent,
yeah,
and that's Africa for you. He reached the pinnacle of football, won the World Cup with France, went right ahead and had a successful managerial position with Madrid. Literally won everything that had to be won on a club level. So the talent is there.
Hmm. It is,
We
bro. It
shouldn't just be
definitely
happy
is.
to be at the table. We should be driving that we are here. We've been here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then
that's my gripe. That's my gripe with the with Africa when it
yeah,
comes
yeah.
to football.
And as well, bro, even the discipline, bro. Like this tournament had so many red
True.
cards, bro. I've never seen so many red cards in a single tournament. You know,
I can
I feel like
understand.
even Googling. Yeah, the
No,
number
I
of
can
red cards.
understand. I can understand the Egyptian coach, Carlos Queiroz.
Yeah.
I can understand, but for him to get sent off in a semi-final, nah, nah, nah. That just shows if the discipline is not there from a managerial position, what are the players going to go right ahead and do?
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah,
going to be
that's so
disciplined as
true.
well. It was, yeah. I wanted discipline. It's one point I forgot about. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's really bad.
non-existent. Yeah,
It's really bad. There were so many red cards. There were 13 players, dog.
they were
Yo,
sent off.
13 is a lot. And then summer tournament and then just the short space of time. I mean, 13 is a lot of red cards. I mean, you really find 13 in a entire footballing season. You know,
And
it really
it's
reaches double digits. But this is just
yeah.
a tournament that took place for a month and 13 red cards
But
is
if
yo,
we honest, we look at let's look at the Liverpool players. Liverpool
yeah,
players when did they were playing probably the okay, not even the Liverpool, Chelsea, Umendi. I know for a fact
yeah,
Umendi was playing against Liverpool. After the game, literally flew to Cameroon for the
yeah,
tournament,
Cameroon.
and literally was there for like 3, if not 4 days with the team. And next thing, the tournament had kicked off. I could be wrong. It could be less, but I think four days was the most. I think I'm not. Yeah, I remain to be corrected on that. So that in itself is we don't. He's playing for his club. Couple of days later, he joins his national. Well, not even a couple of hours later, he joins his national team. Couple of days later, he's playing the first game of the tournament. Like, what the hell is that? That's unheard of when
Yeah,
it comes to the Euros.
yeah.
Euros, the season ends. You get the players going in for like 2 weeks.
Two
Where
weeks, yeah,
yeah, they then start kick off the tournament probably on the third week. Teenage, it feels like
it's
it's a
just
club tournament, and
yeah,
that's how it should be treated, like a club tournament.
yeah. I know that's true, bro. I really agree with you, you know. But okay, let's shift our focus on the positive sides, you know. Because I mean,
The
there's always
the
light, you know.
yeah, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
winners,
And yeah,
Senegal, deserved.
they
I
deserve, bro.
think they've been throughout the tournament. They've been consistent, and I was looking at their side. They, if you look at Egypt,
Hmm.
Egypt is. I was having a chat with Adam earlier on. Egypt has is on has peaked, and they're coming down their trajectory, because
Yeah,
if you look at their players, like Trezeguet is still in the side, and how many
El
times or how
Nene.
many, yeah.
Mm,
So Senegal, you look at Mendy.
hmm.
That boy is blessed beyond. I think if you look at him moving from Real to Chelsea, his career
Yeah.
literally did this. It exploded, because I
Hmm.
think I was looking at his trophy count. I think
Mm,
he's collected, and this is top of my head, he's collected uh, Champions League, keep off the tournament in Champions League, though he didn't make the team
old
of the
11.
tournament. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. And what else?
I mean,
AFCON. There's another trophy that I'm forgetting. But he's won in the last couple of years. He's won like four, and I'm talking about like solid trophies.
Yeah,
But yeah, Senegal, they've got the players.
I
Um,
know, true.
well deserved. Well deserved. I feel sorry for Salah because I think had he
Mhm.
won this and Liverpool push Champions League second in EPL, he would have gotten the Ballon d'Or, but you'll never know. That's just my view
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I do agree with you with Senegal. I just don't think Egypt deserved it. I mean, Senegal created the better chances yesterday. They were firing at all cylinders. They were meant to win that game within the 90 minutes, But of course, you know how football works at times. And credit has to go to the goalkeepers, bro. And speaking about goalkeepers,
The Egyptian keeper,
Egypt's
hey, my guy,
the Egyptian
hey, that,
keeper is insane, bro.
hey,
He has a list. He basically writes down like which side a player is most likely going to take the penalty. Like that's how much he studies. I mean, he even saved Mane's penalty. Even though Mane went up to him and told him that he's going to shoot that way, he was just trying to be smart there. And then the keeper was like, "Hell no, not this time, dude." And
nah, the
so for
Egyptian
me,
keeper,
yeah,
Uspanile yesterday, the Egyptian keeper. Like
yeah,
literally, I would have. He was my man of the match
yeah,
in the whole game because
yeah.
he was working overtime.
I know he really was. He really was. I mean, he saved him big time. And for me, bro, do you think the goalkeeper of the tournament was meant to go to your goalkeeper, Mendy, or do you think it
Um,
was meant to go
given
to?
given the results
Yeah,
and I think Egypt, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think it's warranted for.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think it was warranted for, even though the Egyptian keeper is Olujale. But yeah,
yeah.
I think Mendy is the keeper of the tournament.
I just feel like Mendy didn't really have great moments in that tournament. Not as much as Kapaski did, because even in the against Cameroon, bro, he was the man of the match in
It
my
was a difference,
opinion.
yeah.
It was the difference between Egypt going through or not, because Egypt played a similar way that Man United play. You know us, we sit back, absorb the pressure, counter. That's
and
what they
then
were relying
and
on.
then one and then literally one ball from
Mm,
Eleni breaks through
mhm.
for Mohamed for Salah as well. Salah does
Yeah,
Salah things and yeah, an assist
yeah,
and a goal, and hey, Bob's your uncle, you've won the tournament.
yeah. You
E-
see,
yeah, oof, that's a tricky one as to if Umendi deserved it. Um, I'll stick by it. I'll say he
yeah.
deserved it.
I know you just being biased because he's a Chelsea player, dog. Just be honest. Just be honest, bro. Be honest. And then for you, the game of the tournament for you, which one was the one
I'd
where,
have to go back. There was a surprise game. I'll tell you now. Actually,
yeah,
thought I had it written down on my notes. Ah, come on.
mm,
I'll tell you now. I mean, I'm all for the underdog, my guy. Like
yeah,
literally, when I mean, I mess with the underdog. There we go. Tell you. No. It's fine. You can tell me which game you perceive to be the game of the tournament. But I mean, I'm
yeah,
always for the underdog. I'll find this game. It was a weird
yeah.
freaking team that surprised me.
Yeah, for me, bro, like the third and fourth place playoff, only because of the number of goals that were scored. Like I just felt like were starved of goals in this tournament. I mean, I remember the
Yeah,
first few fixtures were goalless, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, goalless. And then third
uh,
and fourth place, I wanted Burkina Faso to, of course, be competitive. As Central African teams aren't really rated as highly as your Western and Northern African. And for them to go up 3-0 and only to uh, blow the lead. It reminds me of a game between there was a game between I remember Angola when Angola was still fire. It was sure Tulani. Remember when Angola was still fire, bro, when they were still qualifying for World Cups. There was a game they played against Mali, and that was a time where Freddie Canute was still the man at Mali.
yeah.
Angola were leading 3-0 up until the last 15 minutes, and then Mali turned the game around and drew the game 3-3. So it gave me that
That
vibe,
vibe.
that vibe, But for me, like I was also impressed by Vincent Abubakar, man. That guy really led his team, from the front as the
Wait,
captain. Yeah.
you want him on your side?
At United, no, 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 no. I wouldn't say I'd want him at United, but I think he's a solid striker. He played for FC Porto, and in his Porto days, he used to be deadly in the Champions League. It's just that he's been jumping around, going to different teams. He hasn't yet settled into a top side after moving from Porto to Besiktas. But I just
Yeah.
think that he is someone who is capable, even to play in England. He's got how the English teams like players with size, with strength, power. He can also finish very well. So, yeah, man, like him scoring 8 goals in one tournament, he was one away from equaling the record. 8 is incredible. Like,
That was close.
yeah,
And the, so the game that I enjoyed, maybe
yeah,
there was too much focus on it, was that 2-2 draw against Gabon in Morocco.
yeah,
Because I think the last it
yeah,
was two goals in the last 10 minutes or in the last 9 minutes. Um,
yeah,
I enjoyed that.
yeah.
I was just hoping that new Basa boy was gonna play, or the Basa guy,
Oh,
former Arsenal
pray.
player.
You don't feel that guy, no?
Nah,
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in him. I've got a lot of I had a lot of
Mm,
faith in him.
yeah.
But yeah, I watched him over the weekend with his new side. It looks like
Mm.
Xavi
Onto
might be
something,
onto
man.
something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. True, true, true. Because
But yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, Atletico, dog. Defensively, they're solid, and for them to
good to
score
give
four
shy and
goals,
yeah,
yeah, and then for them to score 4 goals is incredible. Yeah, and then
yeah.
last question in closing,
Wait,
the yeah,
before you ask me that last question,
yeah,
you need to eat a humble pie with the speed merchant. You were wrong about him.
Traore.
Yeah.
It's just the first game, dog.
Ah,
Relax.
ah, ah,
Game
ah.
one.
You need
Relax.
to eat your words and eat a humble pie.
Relax. Like,
You
it's
you
just
watched you watched
okay.
him.
We played well. We played very, very well.
Oh,
I mean, I was
okay.
I was
I'm glad.
surprised. I was surprised that he knows how to pass the ball. I think maybe I mean he is from the what is it? Is it the La Masia or something?
The yeah, the
Yeah,
Lucia,
the
the
cat.
development year pasa, yeah.
Yeah, Barca. He is from there,
Mm.
Velu Traore, and he was highly rated when he was a youngster. I don't know what
Nah, I
happened,
think he
He
just
just
lost his ways with the
yeah,
English. He moved there when he was too young.
yeah,
But anyway,
same. Yeah, I agree
I
with
wish
you.
him all the best.
I feel like he should have went to like a Espanyol or a Real Betis or something, just to develop his game, because at the end of the day, when you go to England, you really need to be ready, bro. Because we've seen so
I
many
know
players.
England. You don't train there. You don't
Mhm,
train. You are literally, and I think I'm gonna come December.
mhm.
That December schedule that they've got,
Yeah,
it takes it out of you.
it does, bro. It
Where
really does.
you're
It really
playing, you're
tests
playing
you.
every 3 days,
Mhm.
and you're not
Yeah,
even playing for your national side. You are playing. It's raining. It's
yeah.
cold. It's miserable. It's
Mhm.
snowy. It's everything. And this boy is from Spain, where the sun is out, and
You
now
see,
he's being asked to perform every 2 days. But yeah,
yeah,
go right ahead. What was
yeah.
the last question?
In closing, I just wanted to ask you the gap between North and West Africa and the rest the
Why don't I
of
fight the southern?
Africa.
Why don't I fight the
Southern,
southern
yeah.
hemisphere?
The thing is that I'm saying the rest because I'm also including Central and Southern because I mean, Burkina
It's
Faso is
huge.
Central. You see,
It's
like when
huge.
I was you think it hasn't closed. There isn't any improvement, nyana,
Nah,
from
nah.
the Southern African teams because I mean Zimbabwe gave Senegal a run for their money in Senegal's opening game. It
And
took
they
a
fizzled
90th
out.
minute. Yeah,
And
and
then
then
they fizzled
Ghana,
out.
but Ghana also lost to a Southern African team.
So X, look at it this way. A
Yeah,
tournament is decided by a lot of factors, but one of the most
yeah,
important, I think there's a formula that you can use in you winning a tournament. So fine, you
yeah.
know that the group stages. So you've got your first game. That's very important.
Hmm.
Like literally,
Hmm.
first game. you either you can't afford to lose it. Um, it has to be a win. So literally, first game, go all out. Thingy. So if you're gonna play 3 games in the group stages, first game, go all out. Second game, aim for a draw.
Yeah,
If you aim for a draw in the second game and you actually win it, you through to the next round. But anyway, if you draw it, then you don't. There's not so much of pressure in the next match that you're going to
the
play.
fun again. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I yeah, the southern hemisphere teams, they disappointed me. I was like,
Yeah.
and they did their
It's,
own thing. I think if Bafana was there, Bafana was gonna just do Bafana things.
nah, I
Even though
don't think
Bafana is on
so.
the up,
I
even
don't
though
think so,
Bafana is on
dog.
the up, let me not lower their stock. Their stock is on the up. We need to support
It's
them
on
in
the app.
BB20.
It's Petu Hugo, man. We got Hugo in the
The boss.
building. We got Hugo Potts,
Yeah,
who's
but
gonna revive our football.
yeah, but I think the gap is huge, and
Yeah,
tournament after tournament after tournament, it's just a reflection, and I think also the our version of UEFA is showing that. I would say the
yeah,
gap is it's
yeah.
fucking
It
immense.
really
Sorry,
is.
it's immense.
Yeah, it is. But at least with Sundowns, Sundowns is like, even your team, Chiefs. Chiefs did reach the final of
Look,
CAF, even though we knew that they were gonna get spanked. But you guys reached the final. I mean,
you
that's
you
an
heard you heard
achievement.
you heard Benny McCarthy's comments this weekend, where he
What did
was
he
talking
say?
about this is on Friday. He was talking about the Nedbank Cup. It's like, should Sundowns decide they want Nedbank Cup, they'll go get the Nedbank Cup, because the Nedbank Cup is the crumbs that Sundowns can afford not to win.
Oh my
When he said
goodness,
that,
listen
I
to that.
respected him. I was like, yeah, he knows. He's telling the truth. Sundowns, if they want a player, believe you me,
They'll get
they
them.
get the player. Do you know that
Yeah.
Sundowns almost signed one of your favorite players who plays for Real Madrid right now with Uncle Benzema there?
Vinicius.
Yes, they were like
For
this
real.
person signing him, and they slept on the deal. Yeah, Google it. You'll see it. They
Yes.
slept on the
Imagine.
deal, and the following day he went to Madrid. He could have been a Sundowns player. So
Wow,
that's the
bro.
level of players or talent we speaking on.
Mm. Wow. Can you imagine? Imagine if Vinicius was playing in the PSL. He would be dribbling. He'd be oozing. Like he would be oozing. But yeah, like I feel like other teams also need to up their game, from a
No, when it
recruitment
comes to money,
standpoint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is Sundowns. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
you
they
playing
just done a
against
league on their own.
yeah, they own the league on their own. Like
Yeah,
you're playing with the child who when they say I want this, guess what?
they get
They
it.
want that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, bro. Thank
But
you so much.
overall,
Sorry, sorry.
overall, FCON was a very good tournament. Yes, is that seen? The first couple of
Mhm.
games, group stages were good. The
Yeah,
final was the third place playoff was okay. And had goals. And the final, even though it didn't have goals, it was dramatic. Keeper made us
yeah,
watch it. Now we go back to we default to EPL.
yeah. No, of course we default to EPL. I know, my G. Caesar, thank you so much for availing yourself, my man. Like, it's always a pleasure having these discussions with you. And yeah, man, hopefully our teams in the EPL and even in the PSL improve, bro, because I mean,
We'll
Pirates,
be
there's
we'll be
there's
good.
a mountain to climb, man. There's a Mount Everest to climb. I mean, it's still gonna be a very long season for my teams, but at least with you, Chelsea, even the team I made it blue just for you, there's
I
still a
think you're
bit
my
of
guy.
hope.
I think you're my guy. I mean, I think if Chelsea finish second, I'll take
Mhm.
that. I'll take that as a win.
All right, all right, all right. No worries, my G. Thank you so much for availing yourself. Peace
Anytime.
out. Sonke.